Will you all please join me in Gasho as I read the words, the larger sutra of the Buddha of immeasurable light and life. I vow to become a Buddha, equal to you, the most honored king of the Dharma, and to bring sentient beings from birth and death to the final attainment of emancipation. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, samanda, samanda. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. Unfortunately, I have to start my Dharma talk with a bit of sad news for everyone. So as you all know, or for those of you who have not yet heard, our sister temple, Seattle Betsuin, was involved in an arson incident last night. But from the Facebook posts and from what Rinban Kusunoki has told me, everybody is okay. So, and they're going to assess the damage and everything, but please keep our sister temple, Seattle Betsuin, in your thoughts, and please reach out to your friends of the temple there and to offer any support or help that we can, and I'm certain that our temple will do the same. But we are all thinking of our sister temple, Seattle Betsuin, and we know that we are a strong community and that we will pull together and be able to support one another during this time. I ask you all to keep our friends in Japan in your thoughts as well, as a gigantic earthquake has rocked the country once again, and a tsunami has also caused some damage to the west coast of Japan as well, particularly around the Niigata prefecture and other neighboring prefectures as well, going all the way up to Hokkaido. This happened just last night, and was actually able to hear back from some friends in Japan, letting me know that they are all right and that some of their homes experienced a little bit of damage, but all in all together they are okay. So please keep our friends in Japan in mind as well. Please also keep your healing thoughts towards my wife, Reverend Cindy, who unfortunately has come down with a bad cold, which is why I am glad. Usually I kind of go, why is everyone sitting so far away from me? But, as you can see, I'm wearing a mask, and I actually myself feel okay. But I'm like, maybe it's a good thing you all are sitting in the back there wearing a mask, taking precautions. Unfortunately, Reverend Cindy could not attend her temple's New Year's Day service today and has asked the minister's assistants to take over the service there as well. My father also has come down with a terrible cold, so bad that my mother unfortunately had to cancel their shogatsu plans with the family. So I have all this food, so now the family is just going to come by, pick up the food, and then leave. So yeah, kind of a hard way to start the new year, I think. However, we as Buddhists, once again, especially Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, we try our best to refrain from going into superstitious ideology, right? And what I mean by that is saying, look at all the calamities that have happened, right? So therefore, this is probably going to be a tough year, right? We really have to temper ourselves to try our best not to think like that. Now, of course, that doesn't mean we don't feel sad or we don't feel empathy, and we of course feel everything that all of our friends and our family members, are going through, whether it be, from the Seattle Betsuin incident all the way to my Reverend Cindy, coming down with a cold. It's easy sometimes for us to look at these situations and go, oh, this is a very dark mark, or this is sort of a bad start to the new year, and that means that the rest of the year is going to be a struggle, right? We have to realize, right, that ultimately, as hard as these things can be, right, calamities can sometimes happen in life. People get sick, right? That's one of the big truths of the Buddha, is it not? People get sick. We succumb to sickness sometimes. Sometimes very unfortunate events happen, right, beyond our control. There's no way that we can control, the earthquakes that happen, right? We can't control when they happen. We can study them, same as tornadoes, right? All of these things. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that we just sit back and let bad things happen, right? But at the same time, we don't take this into the extreme as Buddhists, as this means that this is going to be a bad year, or this is a bad omen, right? We take these things as they come to us, and we realize that these things do happen from time to time. And most importantly, I believe, is that these moments also bring us to the point of realization of how interconnected we all are as people, right? As sentient beings. When something terrible does happen, we usually have a community that comes and supports us and surrounds us with love and care. And I think this is one of the most wonderful messages, I think, of Buddhism in our lives, is that we do hear these messages of love and care. And this is exactly the message that Bodhisattva Dharmakata gave to all sentient beings when they vowed to become Amida Buddha, the Buddha of infinite light and life. That they would strive and do all that they could to ensure that we as unenlightened beings would one day experience enlightenment. And that I am very grateful for. Knowing that sometimes these calamities or these, unfortunate events could happen to us from time to time, it still doesn't deter my strong-held faith that wisdom and compassion from the land of enlightenment is still working heavily for our benefit. Not saying, of course, that enlightened activity caused these calamities to happen to teach us this lesson. But when these things do arise, that we are able to rely on our Buddhist teachings to help bring us together. When these situations arise, right, which they do in our lives, that all of us are able to come together and rely heavily on the Buddhist teachings of Shinran Shonin and Shakyamuni Buddha. These teachings that we are not alone, that we are all interconnected with one another, and that wisdom and compassion from the Pure Land still works for our benefit, even to this point. It's hard sometimes for us to, come out of these events with, a positive attitude, and I don't expect all of us to do that and just be, we're all happy and all the time. But at the same time, let us also remember it is the beginning of the new year. It is just the beginning, which means that there is so much potential for wonderful things to happen as well, right? This doesn't mean that everything bad is going to happen, right? This also means there is wonderful potential for happy and wonderful life events to occur in the year of 2024 as well. Happy New Year to all of you, because, indeed, despite all of the horrible things that have occurred in the past 24 hours, we all can still come together and enjoy this feeling of gratitude that we are still able to come together and listen to the teachings of Shinran Shonin. This is also the month that we are going to be celebrating and commemorating Shinran's birth into the Pure Land, Ho'onko, as well. January can also be seen as this deep year of gratitude. We have made it to a new year, 2024. And the question comes for us, right? How will we live this year? We all ask ourselves this question when the clock strikes midnight, does it not? How are we going to live this year? What is this new year going to bring for us? And what can I do to ensure that I live the fullest to this year? I do believe sincerely that coming to the temple and listening to the Buddhist teachings can assist us in riding the storm that we call life, the waves of life that can be sometimes tumultuous, but can also be very complacent and still. I think that the Buddhist teachings, especially that of infinite wisdom and compassion continuously coming to us, is what helps us get us through this next year. With happiness, with tears, with joy, with sometimes anger, all of these emotions can come to us. And yet, what's important is that we don't grasp onto it so hard and look so pessimistically. We should try to look optimistically towards the year ahead of us, but also realistically as well, shouldn't we? Sometimes things don't always go our way. Sometimes calamities can happen. Let us try to be both optimistic and realistic at the same time. Optimistic means that, doesn't always mean I only think good things are going to happen. It just means that, we know that not only bad things happen as well. I certainly look optimistically towards this year, as we have many, many activities planned in this year ahead of us. We have gone through our calendar and scheduled some of the important events that will happen at the temple. I am certainly looking forward to many, many wonderful events that continue to bring us together. And of course, outside of the temple as well, how we conduct ourselves, how we act, how we are with our fellow people, right? We just went through the holiday season of the winter holiday season, and we are now in this year of 2024, and I am so grateful to be able to spend it all with you. And so with that being said, let us reflect on the Gosandai that I actually said this morning, and remember that ultimate wisdom and compassion was practiced for our benefit alone. Bodhisattva Dharmakara made the vow that all sentient beings will eventually be enlightened in the Pure Land. And how wonderful that is for us to achieve, for us to realize, when we live in this world of samsara, of birth and death. So I would like to thank you all for coming today for our New Year's Day service. I certainly look forward to being able to spend lots of time with you, probably right now from somewhat of a distance, but other than that, I certainly wish you all a happy new year. Thank you all very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come to the temple and share a little bit of time to listen to the Dharma. Thank you all very much, and please join me in Gassho as I close with the words of the larger sutra. I vow to become a Buddha equal to you, the most honored king of the Dharma, and to bring sentient beings from birth and death to the final attainment of emancipation. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandats, namandats, namandats.